Welcome to this upper body workout. I'm Coach Mike. Grab yourself a yoga strap or a towel, and if you can't do full push-ups, a bench or chair comes in handy as well as a regression. Let's get started. We're going to kick off this workout with a cat and cow stretch to warm up the upper spine. So sink the belly button down to the floor and look up for the cow stretch, and round the back as much as possible for the cat stretch. Think about inhaling as you look up and exhaling as you round the spine down. Moving on to arm circles, we're going to make the largest circles that you can with your arms while in control. Try not to swing the arms as you go through the motion. And just reverse the direction. We're going to do some arm swings and hugs, so open the arms as wide as you can like you're getting ready to give a big hug, and then go ahead and hug yourself. Try and slap yourself on the back like a good bro hug should be. And we're going to do some wrist rolls, so just interlace your fingers, keep your forearms together, and draw figure eights with the hands as you roll the wrists. And it may be hard to do, but just go ahead and reverse the direction. Up next is Scapula Push-ups. So take a plank position, make sure your forearms stay parallel to one another, so don't bring your hands together, palms face down towards the ground. Everything from your rib cage down is going to stay still, and just move your chest away and toward the floor, bringing the shoulder blades together and apart. So take a push-up position to start. You're going to push your tailbone up high into the air, trying to form a straight line from the bottom of your tailbone to the back of the wrists. If you're a little bit inflexible, feel free to come way up high on the toes and pull your tailbone up to the ceiling. For Swan Lifts, lie down on your stomach, put your palms on the floor, thumbs directly under the armpits. You're going to use the muscles of your upper back to lift your torso as high as you can, keeping your sternum on the floor. Once as high as you can go, try to lift your hands off the floor just a split second, and then lay yourself back down with control. To start prone butterfly, put the back of your hands on your lower back, starting the movement by lifting your hands off of your back and then swimming like you're doing a butterfly stroke. Once the hands are overhead, you can rest for a split second, lift them back up, and return to the start position. And we're moving into tempo push-ups. If you're not able to do full push-ups from the floor, feel free to put your hands up on a bench or do the push-ups from the knees. As we lower in the push-ups, take 4 seconds to go from the top position down to the upper arms parallel to the floor, and then press up with a little bit of speed. Make sure you keep your body in a straight line for the entire motion. It helps to squeeze the thighs together to keep the core muscles engaged. This next one I like to call the TV stretch because it reminds me of watching cartoons as a kid. But you're going to lie down on your stomach, bring your arms up overhead, elbows close together, as far away from your body as you can. Then pull your hands up toward your chin as if you're looking up at a TV. As the stretch progresses, try to bring your elbows further and further up away from your body and elbows close together. You'll feel a nice little stretch here in the lat muscles along the side of the body and a little bit in the shoulders. Our first progression on the push-ups is called a push-up plus. So you're going to do a push-up like normal, but at the top of the motion, push the chest as far away from the floor as you can, rounding just the upper part of the spine. If you're not able to complete the entire 45 seconds of regular push-ups, just stick with regular push-ups, elevating the hands or going from the knees until you're able to do the full 45 seconds. We're going to move into an Apley scratch stretch. The focus of this stretch is the bottom arm. So take your strap or towel in your right arm overhead and drop the towel down your back. Then grab the towel or strap with your left arm. Use the right arm to pull the left arm up. You'll feel a stretch at the front of your shoulder. As you do this stretch, try and inch your hands closer and closer together, ideally being able to interlace the hands behind your back. We're going to really quickly move to the other side, stretching the right shoulder. We're going to move to our final progression on the push-up called a planche push-up. The goal of this push-up is to have your shoulders move as far forward past your wrists as you can, ideally having the elbows in front of your fingertips when looking from the side. Again, if you're not able to do full push-ups, stick with those. If you can't do the full 45 seconds of the push-up plus, stick with those. These are very challenging. Best of luck. Next, we have a cactus stretch with the right arm. So lie down on your stomach with your arms up, forming a cactus shape, and turn your head to the left and roll your body using your left arm as leverage toward the right. You can use your left leg over your back as leverage to help increase the stretch, feeling this stretch on the pec muscles of the right hand side. And up next, we're just going to change sides, do the same stretch on the left-hand side. Next up is the prone towel overhead press. So lie down on your stomach and you can take your towel or strap just wider than shoulder width apart. Actively pulling the towel apart the entire time. Start with the towel at the collarbone and hover the hands just above the floor as you slide into an overhead press. At the end of the motion with the arms overhead, lift as high as you can while actively pulling the towel apart. We're working the external rotators of the shoulder and all the muscles in the back of the shoulder. This is fantastic if you have restricted mobility in your overhead press. If you add this movement to your warm-up, you'll definitely see an improvement in your barbell and dumbbell overhead pressing. For the kneeling lat stretch, take a hands and knees position, keep your hips stacked directly over your knees for the entire stretch, and reach out far up overhead. Then walk your way to your left hand side and take your right hand over top of your left to feel a stretch down the right hand side of the body in the lat muscles. From where you are, just walk your hands over to the right hand side, take your left hand over top of your right, feeling the stretch now on the left hand side. In the video, it doesn't look like much is going on with these prone towel rows, but lie down on your stomach, hold the towel just wider than your torso width apart, palms facing up. You're going to actively pull the towel apart the entire time, then try and pull your fists off the floor, bending the towel around your body. Just make sure to keep pulling the towel tight as you do these rows. With your left leg straight out to the side and your right foot on the inner thigh of the left leg. If you're not flexible enough to reach your toes, take the towel around your foot and use that as an extension of your arm. Your goal here is to try and turn your chest forward, facing the same direction as your inner thigh. As you get more and more flexible, try and reach your left shoulder towards the floor, and you maybe take your left arm and reach it across to the right knee. And we're moving on to the right hand side. Up next is a towel curl and press. So with your palms facing up, take the towel or strap shoulder width apart, actively pulling the towel apart with as much strength as you can as you do a bicep curl, and in one smooth motion, press the arms up overhead. For the entire duration of this movement, you want to be pulling the towel apart. Next, we have prone shoulder dislocates, a terrible name for a great exercise. Lie down on your stomach with your palms facing down, grab the towel very far apart. You're going to lift your arms and rotate all the way back, bring the strap down to your bum or your lower back. With each rep, try to grab the strap a little bit closer and closer together until you find the closest together you can hold without the need to bend your elbows. Next up, we have a kneeling windmill on the right hand side. So have your left knee on the floor, right foot out in front in our half kneeling position, right hand up overhead. You're going to lean off to the left hand side, bringing your left hand toward the floor slowly with control. Try not to drop down into the motion. Try to control every inch of this motion. Once you're at the bottom, try lifting your hand off of the floor with your torso not moving, and then bringing yourself upright to the initial position. If you're finding this motion really easy with body weight, feel free to hold a dumbbell or kettlebell or any weighted object in your right hand to add some extra challenge. You're mostly going to feel this motion on the right hand side of the core. Go ahead and switch sides coming up with the right knee on the floor, left leg out in front, left hand up overhead, and leaning off to the right hand side. Again, trying to control the motion and not dropping the hand to the floor. Up next is the archer stretch. So to start, take an all fours position, take your right arm and reach it under your left arm across the body and lie down on top of the right arm. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, you can take your right leg out to the side, bent in a 90-degree position. The goal of this stretch is to slowly try and bring your left armpit down onto your hand. You'll feel this stretch in the back of the right hand shoulder. Coming up, we have the archer stretch on the left-hand side. So starting in the all fours position, take your left arm straight across the body under the right arm, then lie down on that left arm. Again, if you're not feeling much of a stretch, take your left leg out to the side in a 90-degree angle. Next up, we've got towel shoulder extensions. So take your towel behind your back with your hands roughly shoulder width apart, palms facing forward. You're going to actively pull the towel apart the entire time, and without bending forward in the torso, lift the arms up behind your back as high as you can, pausing for a second at the top and returning with control. You're going to feel this motion a lot in the triceps and back of the shoulders. This is fantastic for shoulder flexibility. To set up for the seated bicep stretch, have a seat on your bum with your hands behind your back, close together, ideally less than 1 inch apart, with the fingers pointed backwards. Then you're going to slowly slide your bum forward as far as you can, feeling a stretch at the front of the shoulders and the biceps. The goal with this stretch is eventually to be able to have the whole back on the floor. It's best to start very light with this stretch. It gets intense really quickly. If you find you didn't do enough stretch, you can slide your hips forward slowly as the stretch progresses. Next up is the hip thrust and reach. So have a seat with your body in an M position with the feet flat on the floor, knees bent to 90, and your right hand behind your back. You're going to thrust your hips up into the air and reach your arm up overhead, trying to stretch through the left hand side of the body. And with very minimal transition time, just bring your left hand back down onto the floor, continue the motion with the right hand reaching up overhead. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for moving with me. If you have any requests for workouts you'd like to do in the future, please comment down below.